Welcome back to the Wonder of Ivy YouTube channel. My name is Lisa and we're in for another review. So what I've been doing lately is like a cosplay kind of review when I'm reviewing certain anime. This won't be that, for the purpose that this is a slice of life anime and there was nobody exciting enough that I wanted to like try and cosplay. At least not for a video. I wouldn't really be doing any type of fun makeup or anything like that. I am going to be reviewing the anime Sing Yesterday for Me. This is a spring 2020 slice of life anime that I actually was watching on a weekly basis for the most part. I may have let like a couple episodes accumulate, but I really tried my hardest to watch it every single week. And I really enjoyed it. Now, while I was prepping for this episode, I saw that that was not the case. A lot of people didn't like it. I went on my anime list to get the synopsis and I found that most of the reviews were like 1 or 2. Like that was the review score, 1 or 2. I completely disagree, but we'll get into that why. Not saying that I thought this anime was perfect in any means. It actually was very infuriating and pissed me off at times. But that's kind of what I look for in an anime. I don't want an anime where I'm happy 24/7. I like an anime where the characters suck and I'm just like, why are you doing this? And that's the way that I felt about Sing Yesterday for me. As always, this is a true review in the sense where I'm just gonna be talking about my feelings, what I liked, what I didn't like, and what I felt. I am not, this is spoiler heavy, so if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend that you stop watching this video because I'm gonna be giving y'all the tea on everything that I felt. And trust me, there's a lot. I don't really have like a system or a metric. I'm just gonna tell you like how this anime like made me feel and what I thought about the story. I have my iPad here because I'm gonna be looking through my Twitter feed as well. As you know, I live tweet anime, so the thread of this will be I'll be sure to put a link in the description box. But I had a lot of feelings if you were following me reviewing that on there because it's just so much that was happening, so much that was going on, and it was a lot. The story follows it. The one thing that really drew me to this anime is that the story follows people that are adults. A lot of slice of life anime takes place in high school, and like that's all cool and fine and dandy. Like I'm still gonna cry and get my tears. But it's a different ball game when it's adult, when it's people closer to my age. Because, you know, after a while, them high school tropes, you're like, all right, girl, confess your love, do what you gotta do. It's very cool seeing it, like, you know, seeing an anime kind of where you can see yourself reflected when it's people that are in their careers post-college trying to figure it out. This anime, the story follows Riku, who he's like this self-deprecating guy. He calls himself a loser because he graduated from college 6 months ago. And he still doesn't have it figured out, even though he only graduated 6 months ago. He works part-time as a convenience store. And the one thing about him that I noticed and picked up on is that he doesn't want to commit right now to anything. Because to him, it's better to not try at all than to try and fail at something. And that's something that's very relatable that a lot of people do in their everyday life. And he's just, you know, he's chilling. While he's at the convenience store, he's cool with his coworker and he meets this girl. Her name is Haru and she's very like eccentric, wild, free. Haru basically gives no fucks. Like she speaks her mind. She is like very weird. She has like this crow that follows her around, but she's cool. Like she's somebody that immediately I was like, oh, you're my favorite character because she's herself. She's never trying to be something that she's not. And they meet, and basically, like, Riku finds her really annoying. Like, she kind of follows him around. People got mad time in anime life, so they could follow each other around. She shows up at the convenience store trying to see him. And, you know, they end up hanging out a lot. And she, you know, she says, like, she's had a crush on him since the first time she saw him, which was a couple years ago, which he doesn't remember, but she does. Then we have Shinako. Shinako is a college friend of Riku's, and she comes back into town after having moved away. And Riku basically had a crush on her all throughout college. He never confessed his feelings. And in a moment, you know, he's hanging out, he's catching up with her, and he feels like he's not on her level. Like she's working, she's a teacher, and he's just like at a convenience store. And to her, he calls himself a failure. He says that he's a loafer. And Shinako kind of like agrees. We'll get into that. So you know, he has a conversation with his coworker and decides like, oh, I need to go confess my feelings for Shinako. Like, I'm gonna man up, I'm gonna confess my feelings. He confesses his feelings and Shinako's like, all right, cool. All right, you like me, but I don't like you. I'm not gonna like you back. And there's kind of where the story, I feel like the story really starts. The anime moves fast and slow at the same time. Fast where the time passes and it's like months pass and it's like different, you know, it's like one episode to the next. The pacing of the timing was something that I really didn't enjoy, but it also happens fast because, like I said, from like one episode to another, like, or I guess slow in the sense where months pass and no real action is happening. Here's where the story gets like interesting. Shinako lets like Riku know, like, I'm not interested in a relationship with you, and he kind of doesn't give up. He stays being her friend and hanging out with her. Like, she calls him, oh, I need my VCR hooked up, because this is like the 90s. Oh, I need this done. Like, she's always like calling on him, and he's always there for her. He's always hanging out with her, even though he's not, you know, she wants to be friends and he has more feelings for her. And she knows and admits that she's leading him on, but she's currently unavailable. And the reason for her being unavailable is that she's in love with somebody that she was in love with in high school. And the character has passed away. He died when she was in high school. But she always remained close to his family, his younger brother Rue and his dad. And now they have moved to the city she's in, and she's always cooking for them. She's always hanging out with them. And Rue has a crush on her. And this is the part I feel like in the anime that's kind of muddy to me, because I don't think that Shinako has feelings for him, but he's the tie that she has to the brother that passed away. Without Rue in her life, without Rue's dad, she has no connection to the boy that she was in love with 10 years ago. So the whole story, I feel like, even though it's about Riku, I feel like it's, you know, underlying really about Shinako, because she's torn between her feelings for Riku, which really she doesn't have any feelings for him. She just wants to use him to move on from the brother. And then Rue, which she's hanging out with him, she goes to his house, she cooks for him, and she's also leading him on because she, and this is my belief, although the end is, it's kind of up in the air, I don't think she really has feelings for him at all, but she doesn't want to lose that connection with the brother that passed away. And Rue is the only thing she has linking her to the brother's memory and his family. Then we have Haru. Like I said, she's eccentric and she is set on being with Riku. But the one thing that I really value about their relationship is that she's always straight up. She's told him from the get, like, I like you, I have feelings for you, and I'm gonna fight in quote Shinako for you, and I want to be the one that you're with. And they hang out a lot, which I actually appreciate seeing, because they're doing stuff. They go out to eat. She goes to the convenience store when he was at the convenience store. And Riku's life slowly but surely starts changing, because he actually is into photography, and he didn't really pursue that, but kind of like at, you know, with Haru kind of like encouraging him in a way, he picks that up. You know, he meets with his old college buddy who's like, yo, like, maybe you could work at a photography place. And slowly and surely he starts building his career for himself. But what starts happening is, as he's building himself up, he's, you know, finally at a place where he leaves the convenience store. Photography is what he wants to do. He's gonna make a career out of it. He feels like that's leverage for him to be with Shinako, and he's going to be more desirable to Shinako. So the story, and I feel like this is where a lot of people kind of get upset, and I can understand. It gets to this point where I think after like the 7th or 8th episode, it starts rushing by. Like, so much is happening, and it's like 3 months later, 3 months later, 3 months later. Like, I feel like a lot of development is skipped in the purpose of making it a 12 episode anime. I really think this could have been a 24 episode anime. Shinako basically confronts him and it's like, you know, you're not making moves on me. This part cracks me up because I really was upset at Shinako at this part. She's basically confronts him like, yeah, okay, I'm not ready, but that don't mean that you can't chase me, and you know, you haven't made any moves on me. And I feel like this is where it gets like, Shinako got everybody fucked up. And with the show, like, Shinako is always doing a lot of like reflection on herself, and she's saying, like, at this one point she confronts Riku and she's telling him, like, you know, like, I haven't been thinking about how you felt. She's looking to the guy that she was in love with, his name is Yu, and she's like, doesn't want to let go of Riku, and she doesn't want to let go of you, and she doesn't want to let go of Rue. She wants everybody, but she doesn't really want them. She confronts him. This is like episode 8, episode 9. And she's telling him like, girl, like be man up, confess you confess your feelings, but that's it, that's what you do, like you didn't take any action. And that part just upset me so much, because you're the one who's telling him you're not ready, but then you also want him to step up, and you're the one who's still hanging out with your dead ex's little brother, and you want him to step up and get there. And then Haru kind of at this point really kind of upset me, is like she's kind of cast aside to the sidelines. We start seeing less and less of her with everybody. She's kind of like to herself, just thinking about how much she loves Riku. It starts like after like not episode 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like those last episodes, you see Haru's like heartbreaking, because she really likes Riku, and now Riku has a good job. Now he's like established, he's no longer working part-time. And it is, for me, upsetting that she's being cast aside, because honestly, if it wasn't for Haru, he wouldn't have those things. Not that she gave him these opportunities, but Haru was with him, like encouraging him and pushing him, and she believed in him. You know, Shinako's out here laughing in his face like, oh, well, you were always kind of lazy, I knew you weren't out here like that. Meanwhile, Haru's building him up, giving him the courage, giving him the confidence. And that's one of the real reasons, like, I stand Haru, and I was shipping him and Haru from the beginning, because she was the one that liked him when he was at the convenience store, when he didn't believe in himself, when he was calling himself a loafer and a failure. Yet Shinaku, like, kind of openly to his face made fun of him, like, oh yeah, well, like that's kind of how you were in college, like you were lazy and you were all of this. And she's always doing like those little backhanded compliments to him. Also, she's using him. It gets to this point where they get together. Shinaku and Riku get together, and I couldn't have been more upset. This was the most boring relationship ever. They're together for like 3 months. They hang out all the time. And the entire time that they're hanging out, she's keeping her relationship with Riku a secret from Ru. That is a huge red flag. But like I said, she doesn't want to lose Ru, not because and I think she does care about him in a family type of way, in a familiar type of way, but I don't think she likes him, like for him. She just doesn't want to lose that connection to his brother who passed away, who died like 10 years ago, girl. Get over it. Side note, they, towards episode, I think this is episode 9, episode 10, they changed the ending thing, the old ED, and it was absolutely beautiful. Haru catches Shinako, and I don't say catches. She sees Shinako and Riku together. She's super hard about it. She ends up moving away from town because she doesn't want to see Riku again. They, you know, Riku and Shinako together, and then it gets to the point where they kind of realize like it's not working out. One, Shinako is not telling Ru that she's with Riku, and he ends up catching them as well, and that was super awkward because she runs after him. I just cannot with this show. And basically, this is my biggest issue with the anime. It ends like the last episode. Riku realizes that he's not really in love with Shinako, or like they got together and it's not the same. Like he misses Haru. He realizes that he wants to be with Haru, and then he runs to, like, he goes to her town and follows her and then confesses his feelings to her. Now, here's my issue with the anime in total and what I wish would have been done differently. I completely understand the story, and I feel like until Riku got with Shinako, like no matter if there was 24 episodes, 12 episodes, whatever many episodes, I do feel like he had to get with her to realize like he was in love with this like this version in his head of her that never was gonna be her. So I can understand how him being with her made him realize, like, you know, I really need to be with Haru, because they're together at the park and she's like saying kind of mean comments to him and kind of like making fun of him. And that, to me, you're not gonna hurt my baby Riku like that. I felt like that was necessary. However, it all happens in one episode where he's like thinking about Haru. And I guess like in the past couple of episodes that had passed, the one thing about Seeing Yesterday for me is an anime that you really have to watch, because there's a lot of the things that happen that are nonverbal. A lot of views, a lot of people looking at each other, a lot of feelings. There's a lot of things that happen that you have to visually pay attention to. But I still feel, with all that being said, I still feel like, you know, it goes from like, hey, and he tells Shinako, like, I kind of been thinking like these 3 months that we've been together, like, it's not what I thought it was gonna be. Basically, I'm in love with Haru. And that was like one episode. Like that was like 5 minutes. I needed that to be its own, like an episode, like its own journey of him getting to that point and figuring these things out. So for me, I felt like that happened way too fast. I also feel like, you know, Haru moves away and then she's just like gone, and then like there could have been way more that was happening with that and really showing Riku's inner turmoil. So like I said, I'm not mad that him and Shinako got together. I'm mad at the pacing of the anime and how that was shown, and how it just felt like they're together and then all these different clips happen and it's 3 months later. Like that, no, it could have been expanded more. I feel like him and Haru, like I wanted them to be together, but I didn't want to be with them together like this. Like he goes on a bus having all this like he's like basically having an anxiety attack, which, pause for one moment. The voice actor who voices Riku actually voices Legacy in Beastars, who I am absolutely obsessed with. So the fact that he's having this crazy inner monologue is so like flashback to Legacy, because Legacy was always having inner monologues. That part was actually dope to see. However, I wish I could have seen more of that throughout the series. And I feel like he has this intense like inner monologue just at this end when he's on his way to trying to find Haru and confess his feelings to her. That confession was like like that shit was on the floor. Like you basically made it seem like, hey, things didn't work out with Shinako, I'm gonna be with you, which I feel like isn't really what happened. I feel like had him and Shinako kind of just been like whatever, like they could have just stayed together, because Shinako was just with him so she could get over her ex, essentially. I feel like there was just so much more that could have been expended on, especially since the beginning of the show is a lot of Haru. You know, they're together a lot and they're hanging out a lot. Like I said, she's encouraging him, she's pushing him. She's like the one who believes in him, and she keeps it super 100 with him. So the fact that towards the end we start seeing her less and less, and then that's when like Riku has a realization that he's in love with her, I feel like it should have been completely different. I feel like she still should have been making its way more, and it shouldn't have been this rush to get him and Shinako together for him to realize about Haru. Shinako's storyline, like it just upset me. Like I said, I personally don't feel like at the end you see her going to hang out with Rue. I don't take that as them being together, but that's just I have to read the manga. I don't take it as them being together. I really just feel like they need to get it together. Like she's really just holding on to him, and I feel like she made no progress. This whole show, she uses Riku, she's using Rue, she acknowledges and admits that she's using them because she can't move on from her ex, who's dead, who been dead. Girl, he been died in high school. And like, she can't get past that. And this whole anime, I feel like she didn't make any progress. Yeah, she admitted that, and yeah, she realized, oh damn, like I'm still in love with him and that's gonna hurt me forever. But by her remaining that family friendship with Rue, like you didn't move past that. I still believe that she kept that connection going. She really doesn't like you for himself. She just likes him because of that connection with the brother who passed away. So you know what? Now that I'm speaking this, I can see how people reviewed this lowly. For me, I still think it was a good anime. It's not like top 10 or 10 out of 10. I feel like I wouldn't rate the whole anime poorly because of the end. I still feel like it, for me, it still had a lot of good points. It made me feel a lot. And this passion that I feel, that's how I know it was a good anime, because I'm feeling passionate. I'm really caring about the characters and who they are and their developments. However, the ending was trash and could have ended so much better. But I'm not going to rate the whole anime poorly because the ending was trash. Overall, in conclusion, the whole point is that I feel a lot of things. I initially shipped Riku and Haru. However, their ending was whack. They could have had a way better ending. I do see, him and how much he cared about her, even though he was reluctant. But I feel like it really took him in the park. Listening to Shinako kind of put him down to be like, damn, like, how are we going to do this? Haru's the one who believes in me, and Haru saw him for who he was because she knew him and she was looking to get to know him and know who he was as a person. Shinako really didn't care about him because she's just using him to forget her ex. This long-winded thing just to say I felt a lot of feelings with Sing Yesterday for me. I'm definitely going to try to find the manga to read. I kind of looked online to purchase it. I don't see it in English. If you've seen it in English and you want to send me the link, I can find it. But I really, really want to read it and see if my people get a better ending than what they got, because this was absolutely just throw the whole ending away. But overall, the show was just so realistic to life. I was watching this with my best friend Rose, and I'm like, girl, remember when XYZ happened to me? And this reminds me of your situation, and all the feelings, especially Haru. I just love Haru so much because Haru really, really, really reminded me of myself, how open I've always been, how kind of like I've always been honest with my feelings, and I would never hesitate to let somebody know like I want to be with you, and the waiting, how she like wanted to wait for him. Like that is so reminiscent of me in high school, and I really, really, really like seeing that. And that's one of my favorite things about slice of life anime, is that you can see yourself reflected in the characters. I love Riku's growth, his career growth. The only thing that I don't like is how he felt like because of his career growth, like he was worthy to be with Shinako, and his career growth should have just been his career growth for himself. But he did, you know, figure out who he was with the help of Haru, figure out like, yeah, I can do this. I can be a photographer. I can live out my dreams. Like I don't have to live in these uncertainties, because the only person I'm holding back is myself. Shinako girl, I'm tired of you. I felt like I had so many moments where she redeemed herself only to let me down again. She was the most infuriating character out of this whole series, because she's the person who's honest with herself and still so jaded and still didn't see what she was doing wrong. But yeah, that was Sing Yesterday for me. My real feels, unfiltered, uncensored, all over the place. I want to know, what did you guys think? If you felt as passionate about it, if you didn't feel as passionate about it, if you're like, girl, calm down, you crazy. I just felt like so much more could have been done, but either way, it was a really, really good anime, and I don't hope for a season 2 because it's done. There's not going to be more. But I just wish that the ending wouldn't have been so abrupt. We would have seen more development with Riku realizing how much Haru really meant to him and how much Shinako was trash. But thank you so much for watching this review of Sing Yesterday for me. I have a couple more reviews coming up, but those will be cosplay reviews, so they're going to take a little bit for me to get them together. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.